1051.
I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I never took a straight path nowhere. Life's full of twists and turns, bumps and...
Shout out EmEz and tune in to the sit down.
Another example of how easy does, easy does, easy does, easy does, easy does.
Let's start it.
Let's start it. It's the Sunday sit down. It's Shemaine, man, EmEz. Yeah, I got Ty Jones in the building. We're talking football. How you doing?
Doing well, man.
Are you a Patriots fan as well?
I'm a football fan. You remember when the Detroit Lions went 0-16? I would watch them play. That's how much I love football,
I
man.
thought you were going to tell me you were a Detroit fan.
Nah. But
That
I love ball, man.
That hurts. All right, so it's the Sunday sit down. Ty Jones in the building from the hit series Power. How's that been?
Man, that's been a blessing.
How'd that happen?
I literally auditioned, man, and fortunately they hired me. And I remember I was in the season finale of season 2, did my scene, and Courtney came up to me and she's like, "We're bringing you back next season." And of course, as an actor, you know, you take that with a grain of salt. But she brought me back for 3 episodes, and that turned into 6. So I'm in 6 episodes in season 3, and then season 4 started up, and yeah, we're having a good time already.
Give me something about acting that people take for granted.
I think people take for granted when it comes to acting is how difficult it is. I think probably one of the most insecure businesses that you could be in is acting. Probably dancing is one of those as well too. And
what kind of dancing? Because strippers are very...
Oh, okay, good point. I was going to say something more along the lines of modern dancing, things like that. A ballet dancer.
It's the realm
But,
I'm in. I'm sorry.
I totally understand. But you know, when I came to New York City, there was no part of me ever that thought I was going to be doing commercials and things like that. But the truth is, I make my living doing some commercials, doing some voiceovers, doing a little TV, doing some film. So, you know, hitting from all those different angles allows me to have the family that I have and, you know, the home that I have. I'm basically a suburban dad living in the concrete jungle, man. So, you know, I'm really happy that I've been able to use all these different, you know, tools that I've learned in the acting game to
goals.
So,
that's goals right there.
Yeah.
Suburban life, man. I gotta salute that. Ty Jones is in the building. What was your first role in acting?
I actually played Scrooge in Christmas Carol.
Really?
Yeah, bah humbug.
You don't strike me as a bah humbug type of guy, though.
It was 3rd grade, and I was the only black kid in the class, and I could do bah humbug like a champ back then.
There
So
you go. Okay.
that was my
What
first
school
one.
was it?
It was my elementary school. It was Waver Elementary School. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Where you from?
I'm originally from East New York in Brooklyn, but I'm a military brat. So my mom joined the military when I was about 5. She kind of kicked my dad to the curb, and then she joined the military.
Now we got a totally different topic.
Yeah.
How does growing up as a military brat affect you as a man totally? Because you do a lot of moving.
Yeah.
Friends aren't the same all the time.
You got it right. So, you know, you have that peripatetic lifestyle. You're always moving around, which fits right into being an actor. So when I got my graduate degree, I literally lived in like 9 different places because of work. You know, I lived in Cincinnati for a while, lived overseas for a little bit, in Jordan, in Taiwan, doing all these acting gigs. And when you get an opportunity to see the world, it gives you a different perspective on the world, and it also adds to all the characters that you can play and the stories that you can give. So I think that if you are going to be a part of this world, you need somebody who's well-traveled. So it fit right in, you know, it's integrated right into my life in a way that I never could have dreamed.
So could you say that because of the moving around and seeing and being able to interact with a lot of these people, you were able to
pull off those experiences.
Exactly.
And, you know, you get all kinds of roles thrown at you, and I have the luxury of being able to, when I lived here, I can pull from that, or when I like this person, I can pull from that. You know, I speak a little German as well, too. So I've had an opportunity to, you know, speak German in things that I've done. So, yeah, I mean, being able to pull from, you know, kind of sense memory from your experiences definitely, you know, helps your world in this acting game.
Okay, now, this I may sound ignorant here.
No,
I'm going to ask a question because they always tell me a dumb question isn't a dumb question.
I'm with you.
What does SAC stand for in front of Jerry Donovan?
It's Special Agent in Charge.
Bam. There you go. For the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. Special Agent something.
Yeah.
Got you. All right.
That's it, man.
So talk to me about Power and next season. Can What you got for me? You left me on a cliffhanger. Give me something.
Oh,
Ty,
man.
come on.
Oh, man. Okay. I do need to, I want to stay employed, okay?
Absolutely. No, don't give it all away.
All I'm going to say is this, is that there's going to be 2 more seasons, so you know that they got a lot of storytelling, and all I'm praying is that I actually started a hashtag called Don't Kill Me Off. So,
Okay.
So right now, I think, my role has been elevated a bit as one of the FBI guys because you guys saw what happened. I shouldn't be any spoilers now if everybody's watched season 3, what happened to Greg. So they've elevated some of the stuff, but that's all I can really say.
Okay.
At this point, all right?
I got a better question.
Okay, cool.
Since you're of the military and and you're playing a good guy per se.
Yeah.
Has there been a part of you that, as you're watching the show at home, like I could have pulled off Ghost? Is there a part of you that thinks that sometime?
I think that, yes. I think there's always that, though. If you believe that you're really good at your own game, you got to believe that you can carry a show on your own shoulders.
Man.
So, but I will say that Omari Hardwick is extraordinary in his role, and let me tell you why. It's much more than just being the lead on the show. It's an enterprise, and everybody takes their cues from the people who are the leads on the show. So every time I show up to work, everybody's cool, everybody's relaxed, and that's because Omari's cool, Leela's cool, all the leads are really cool, and that sets the temperature for everything else. I've been on shows where it's a hostile environment, and you take the cues from the lead, and when the lead can be a little hostile and screaming and yelling and stuff like that, and if you can feel it throughout. That's what's awesome about him, is that he's much more than just being the lead actor on the show. He's leading this entire enterprise, and that's a hard thing to do. It's on his shoulders, So I can't. There's as much as I would love to be, like I said, lead on some show. I get to do a little bit of that in theater, so because I'm pretty sure that I'm a big theater head. So
this segue he just hit me. It's
tried.
Amazing because I just got Friday afternoon when I left the Breakfast Club. I went to go see Birth of a Nation.
Interesting.
Have you got a chance to see it yet? I know you were a big part of it before.
So you may know, I wrote a play. I wrote a screenplay called Emancipation, and it is about the Nat Turner Rebellion. I was a finalist in the Sundance Feature Film Institute program, but it was at a time. Nobody knows me. No, I don't know how to finance a film. I went to Sundance and met some folks, but I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about getting it done. So I then made that into a play. And then that play was produced with the Classical Theater of Harlem, of which I am now the producing artistic director of. And some of the best reviews that any playwright would ever have, I got. And I always did want to make it into a film. I just never had that access, And now Nate made his film about the Nat Turner Rebellion, and I think it's great. At the end of the day, I haven't seen his film, but I think it's great that we're hearing about Nat Turner. And I hope we can do several stories about rebellion and Nat Turner, just like we see several stories about the Holocaust, So we can get a lot of those stories out. So
is your story very different from Nate's story?
Well, I can tell you what mine is. What I did is that I took the actual confession, and that's how I created the story from there. And
Who's the confession?
Oh, it's called The Confession of Nat Turner. It was Thomas Gray actually took his confession back in 1831.
See, this is something I went to a predominantly white school. I had no knowledge of Nat Turner of the rebellion at all until the movie came out, and I seen that, and now I went back and did a little research.
Got you. Yeah. So he led the largest black slave rebellion in the United States, and there were many of these, but his is probably known so well because it changed the course of history, and I think it's so powerful because I think it scared this nation. That's what happened, is that this one guy was able to shift the conversation around the rebellion, because even in government, people were like, hey, we should really think about this whole slavery thing. George Washington even had talked about it. It's like, there's something wrong with this. A lot of folks were like, yo, let's think this one over, think this through. But there were folks who said, no, we can do this because we can. And if you look at the legacy of the peculiar institution, I mean, that's that American exceptionalism that we talked about today. And I'm like, we need to stop talking like that. This idea that we, by manifest destiny, we can just go do whatever the hell we want to do. Empires fall, no pun intended, So let me stay out of trouble here,
I like this guy, Ty. Okay, shots fired. It's the Sunday sit down. Ty Jones is in the building. Talk to me. We're talking about the Nat Turner movie and the effect that it's gonna have. Because I think, as I watched it, And I think there was a part in the movie where the one overseer, and I think that's another thing. The first officer was an overseer of slaves. So when you go back to see an officer as an overseer of slaves,
oh, yeah.
and you see the officers now,
this is the root of the police today. Yeah, their job was to go out and catch runaway slaves.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, the legacy's deep. It's deep, and I think it's really important that the more knowledge that we have about this, I think better decisions we can make. I mean, I love that. Ta-Nehisi Coates started writing about reparations. And but he's actually tying it to like housing. When they talk about redlining, that all these folks over here who are white can have access to government funds, but those folks over here can't. I mean, and that happened in the 20th century. Imagine all that wealth just from the 20th century that was stripped from us. So now, let's go ahead and take it a few centuries back with slavery. How much wealth was actually taken from us, plundered from us for the benefit of another group of people? I mean, and that I forgot, I'm not going to even say it right, but I know Conyers in Congress has been trying to get a bill passed to just research, study the effects of slavery. How much plunder actually happened? It isn't about saying we need reparations. It's just, let's find what that number is. And Congress refuses.
Do we want to know?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah?
You damn right we
If
should know.
you knew that number, I think it would really affect a lot of people in a negative way.
I don't think it would be negative. I think it would be like, wow, we were the ones that actually built this nation.
And
now we can get
we
got nothing for it, but we need to be able to have that acknowledgement. So then when we move forward, we can say, hey, we need to make sure that access is given to folks who have been left out of the conversation because we saw what's happened in the past. So yes, I'm okay with that number. South Africa was about to be destroyed, right? They were, before Mandela said, hey, look, he got out of jail. We need to save this country. They did a thing called a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, where everybody who did something wrong came clean, but they knew they weren't going to be punished for it. So they started talking about how they snuck into people's home, cut their throats, put them in the tires and lit them on fire. It was horrible, the things that happened. And I just think that we're at a point where we can handle the horribleness of what's happened.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. We're strong people, man. We're strong people.
I think the atrocities that happened back then, if that Pandora's box was open, I don't know if a lot of people could really stand and sit there and look next to their brethren and be like,
well, I think
cool.
I actually think, look at us now, look where we are today, and it's because people did that sacrifice. People did, blood was shed for us to be where we are today. So let's see what they actually went through. It's like, wow, the kind of sacrifices y'all made. Shoot, what I'm doing right now, I better step up my game. Or maybe it'll actually tie us into the thing that King always talked about, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So maybe we'll start have that sort of pan view of like, okay, what about our brothers and sisters over in Africa that are being exploited by these European nations? Okay, what about what's going on in Taiwan, or what's going on with the Dalai Lama? Maybe it'll actually see how much more we are alike than we are different. You know what I mean? The only time I want to see colors separated is my laundry. You understand?
Amen.
That's about it.
It's the Sunday Sit Down, Jermaine Man, EmEz. Ty Jones is in the building. So we got a little heavy.
Yeah, let's lighten it up.
Got a little heavy.
Let's lighten it up.
Okay?
What's in this water bottle? Just kidding. It's water.
Talk to me about Denzel. You got a chance to work with Denzel on
Twice.
Pelham 1, 2, 3. I believe that was the name of the movie.
Yeah. So
how was that?
It was awesome. So I got to work with Denzel twice. I also did a Broadway show with him. I did Julius Caesar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I got to understudy Mark Antony. Eamon Walker was in it and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, Bill Sadler, who was in Julius Caesar, the Broadway show, he's now on Power. So well, they hired him. He's going. I'll just say that he's in this upcoming season. I won't say what he's doing, but he's in this upcoming season. But back to D.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
But D, he was great to talk to about the industry. All right, this is a guy who's at the top of his game, and I didn't realize how big he was when I worked with him. So people will talk about, it may be a little bit different now, but they talked about like Denzel and Tom Hanks in the same sense, right? But what I noticed about Denzel was this. So Tom Hanks has a strong following with the white audiences, right? And has a decent following with black audiences and a decent following with Latino audiences. Denzel has a certain profile with white audiences, but a huge one with the African American audience and a huge one with the Latino audiences. And when you put that aggregate together, put it all together, Denzel's big, man. He's big. And he has carried an industry on his shoulders as a black man, and he was able to talk about that a lot with me. I did get a chance to sit down with him too to try to get him to support Emancipation.
Okay.
It didn't happen, but that's all right.
I mean, he did Glory.
He was like, Ty, I'm gonna let you sit down with me. You know, he was good.
that was a good dead
I tried. That's about it. But and then Pelham was awesome. We had a good time. Tony Scott, who's now passed away, was a fantastic director, and they were able to bring a little levity to the set. I thought it was going to be all serious and none of that whatsoever. Everybody had a great time. John Travolta was good people. So I was thrilled to be able to be on the set with those two guys and get the experience of working on a studio film like that.
Gotcha. So what else are you working on? What's in the works for Ty Jones?
So right now, as you know, I'm the producing artistic director of the Classical Theater of Harlem, and we have a play that just opened. We had a fantastic New York Times review this past Friday. It's called Fit for a Queen. It's by a woman named Betty Shamia. She's an Arab-American playwright. We like to give voice to playwrights that don't get a chance to be on American stages. And it's directed by Tamala Woodard. What's awesome about this play is that it's an irreverent look at the reign of Queen Hatshepsut. She reigned over Egypt, Queen Hatshepsut.
Okay.
She reigned over Egypt many, many years ago, and I think it's fair to say that there might be a woman that's going to be the leader of the free world come November. So,
Ty, we can't talk politics.
That's
Ty,
all right.
Don't do that.
That's all right. We'll stop at that. I just wanted to let y'all know that there was a reason why we chose this particular play. But it's funny. It's very, very funny, and because it's an irreverent look at the reign of this Egyptian queen who didn't want to be called queen. She insisted on being called pharaoh. She was like, I want to be called the same thing the guys are called.
When can I go see this?
You can see it right now through October 30th. You can go to cthnyc.org on the website for tickets.
I got it. I might want to make that a date night.
It'll be a good date night too. Lots of women on stage who are just, owning it.
Gotcha. We're going to make that a date night. We're going to get in contact. We're going to make this happen.
Deal. I love it.
Now, besides, there was a question I was just about to ask you. Then you tell me the date night thing. I lost it. Oh, there it goes. Yes. I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
I love that. She just kind of.
She
just telepathically threw it over to you like
She's
that.
the best. Now, as I was doing my research and everything.
Yeah.
What happened with the theater that got into debt that you had to come out of pocket for?
So in 2009, when the financial crisis hit, a lot of not-for-profits got hurt. So about 19,000 not-for-profits closed their doors. Now, for many years, I had been working with Classical Theater of Harlem. It was 10 years old at the time as an actor. I became a board member later on, but as an actor. And what I saw was an opportunity for us to be doing these great plays, these great classic plays by, Shakespeare, Ibsen, Chekhov, Shaw, Congreve, Sheridan, in front of people that look like us, and do it in such a way that is absolutely unforgettable and unapologetic as well. Mm-hmm. But what ended up happening is that the leadership at the time had to go.
When you say had to go,
there were a lot of issues with the way the company was being run. And the big elephant in the room is that the two people who founded the company were white guys. And that wasn't the reason why it failed. The way they operated is the reason why it failed. So when the financial crisis hit, it exposed us financially and in terms of leadership. But I saw all the great work we were doing. When I saw kids in the audience that looked like us doing these kinds of plays, I didn't want that to go away. So they are now gone. I step in. We're about $400,000 in debt. We had no friends in Harlem, even though we were called the Classical Theater of Harlem. So I went out to just repair those relationships. There were about 40 some odd people to whom we owed money to. I went and talked to them to either, reduce our debt or let's get on a payment plan. I went back to funders and companies like mine, they're small. We're oftentimes dependent upon foundations and government. And so I had to go to those folks and say, hey, look,
why did you get a GoFundMe?
It wasn't around at the time, man.
Gotcha.
But I will say this was at the very beginning when social media started to take off. Without social media, I would not have been able to save the company. But now, here we are, 2016. I've been running it for about 7 years. I've been able to get grants to hire a managing director, a development director. Come December, we will be debt-free.
Oh,
and
congrats for that.
Man.
Yeah.
So, I want us to be the next great American theater company. And, the work that we do is through a diverse diaspora. I think that our company could be a template to start like a middle class of theaters across the United States. That's how I feel about it. I think that's the kind of work we're doing.
Let me know of any way I can help and get involved and make that happen,
okay,
I would love to get involved and work a part of the community and the health.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. I can tell you this right now. One real quick thing. The play that we're doing is happening now. The next play that we're doing, I'm really proud of this, is called The First Noel, and we're doing it at the Apollo. Everybody knows about the world famous Apollo. December 10th through the 18th. And the reason why I'm proud of that is that if we're able to sell well for those 8 days, for those days, I think the Apollo will consider doing an actual full run come 2017. So now, when when people come to New York, of course, they're going to go do Radio City. They're going to go see Nutcracker. But I want them to come up to Harlem to the Apollo and see The First Noel, to be part of the conversation of the Christmas offerings here in New York City.
Like I said, if there's any way I can help, I'm part of it. I want to go see the show. I'm actually treating my team to Christmas dinner on the 18th of December.
Ooh,
so I think
you should come see the show. Yeah,
to the show as well.
That would be,
make it a whole night out.
That'd be beautiful. Yeah. When you taking them to dinner, where are you gonna take them? You gonna take them uptown?
Yeah.
Awesome. I got a bunch of places.
Blue Jeans. There's a couple places up there.
Oh yeah.
Kind of good way we figure it out.
Oh, beautiful. If you need some suggestions, you just let me know.
You can come up for the dinner too.
Oh, I'd love it, man. I'd love it. I want you to meet my kids too. So I think
listen, I love the kids. I love the kids. I got my son is 17 months now. It's amazing.
You in it? Okay. Yeah. I got a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
Whoa, you got a little clan over there.
But you in it?
Bro, listen. Yeah. I'm done. I think as a young kid, I wanted 11 kids.
I wanted 12.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but did you come from a big family?
Yes.
Okay, so my own personal family, my dad was a bit of a Rolling Stone, but I would go there.
He got 11 his own.
Yeah. So I always did. I like this big family thing, but I got 3. When we had one, it was tough. When we had the second one, it was a breeze. That third one, I felt like a new parent all over again.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Because you out there in the playground, right? And you got the one here who's like, "Let's play ball, Dad." I'm like, "All right, let's do it." But then the little one, you got to keep your eyes on.
Can't play ball with
I can't play because I got to watch this one. He's like, "Well, you don't want to play ball with me?" It's like, "Oh,
man.
Yeah." But you in it.
That's good problems to have.
That is though, isn't it?
Daddy problems. Gotta love it.
We don't live in Libya.
Listen, thank you for coming.
Man, thank you for having me. I deeply, deeply appreciate you guys.
I didn't know I was gonna enjoy this interview as much as I did. I'll be honest with you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Whenever you're in town, you got nothing to do, come on, swing on. Seats open. It's always open for you.
Oh man,
and I want to be a part of that. The Harlem situation.
Classical Theater Harlem. Yeah, man. I'm indebted. Thank you.
Anything else you want to say to the audience before we go?
Become friends with us on Classical Theater of Harlem. Our website is cthnyc.org. And much love to Power 105.1.
There we go. Ty Jones, it's a Sunday sit down.
Man,
thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out EmEz and tune in to the sit down.
Another example of how easy does.
Power 105.1.